I missed you guys. I needed this so bad. At the worst week.
I'm supposed to have the right screen on while I'm doing stuff. So I guess everybody got to see. Spoiler alert: we're talking about the Xbox Bethesda.
You want to come over and say hi?
What is up, everybody? Hi, Mikey. He's joining us temporarily.
Just for a sec, because he brought me an iced tea.
Oh, that's good. Did he bring enough for the rest of the class?
Yes, he did.
Whoa, that is enough for the rest of the class.
That's the Segundo one.
What
Love it.
is up, everybody? This is
Hello.
another episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. This is part 2 of what will become a mega episode all about Summer Game Fest. So we're like making just like a big old
video game singularity.
The video game
singularity.
So people may be asking what the heck is going on, and it's Summer Game Fest still happening. And so it's been a couple of weeks, and as predicted, last week I played Floppy Nights, which I can talk about during Around the Horn.
Oh man,
we'll do so.
Floppy Nights is so good.
Yes, and so we will definitely talk about that. However, what we are going to do for the rest of the show, outside of going around the horn and making silly jokes about video games and board games, is we're going to talk about the tail end of Summer Games Fest, which entails the Xbox and Bethesda showcase and the Epic Games showcase and Geek Week, which took place on Friday. So some of this news is a little old. However, stuff that's still worth talking about, especially if you have Netflix on a mobile device, which is like really weird to talk about, but like there's some good stuff on there.
I want to talk about Point P. We'll get there.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. And so, and then we also had a Final Fantasy thing that was not part of Summer Games Fest, but like happened during it. So it's like I get to call the shots because I'm in charge, and I decided that it's part of our Summer Games Fest coverage. Because there are no cops.
No cops.
So let's just get started and just get right into it and go around the horn. And I'm going to start. Normally, but before I'm going to do that, I'm going to introduce my co-hosts. You've heard them already, so let me just go. To my, is it right on the screen? I don't even know. Is one of my very best friends in the whole wide world, our board game editor, the Mistress of Magnificence, otherwise known as Mom, Linda Roble. Linda, how are you? Congratulations on the end of the school year.
Yes, yay, I made it. I made it.
Yay! So
it was
happy
quite
for
the
you.
Sprint. Yes, 9 weeks of freedom, or just different responsibilities.
That part. That one.
Yeah, 9 weeks of different work.
Different work.
Because we know that you can't sit still.
And spoilers, I might not have to. Choosing to go back because my room is getting painted this week. So had to strip everything, pile it in center of room. And so they will text me when my room is now painted and I can reset. So that will be a summer project. But I'm getting a fresh coat of paint. I'm thrilled.
Yay!
Also joining us, before I go into my next tangent, about because I have a challenge for Linda over the summer.
Oh no!
I think you guys can all hear it in my voice. Also joined by one of my very best friends in the whole wide world, Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power, game developer extraordinaire, game critic extraordinaire, game consultant extraordinaire. What are you? Just an extraordinaire?
According to you, buddy, yes. I don't think anyone else thinks of me like that, but this gives me such life. Thank you.
I think that's a lie. You know how many people live in your house?
Okay, that's fair. My kids probably think that of me.
I mean, listen, we manufacture our fans. You know what I mean?
It's true. I did make some of my biggest fans. That is fair. That's fair.
I would say that, but I have, considering how often my oldest tells me that I have skill issues, it's challenging.
Aww.
It's okay. He made a macro in World of Warcraft to remind me that I have skill issues. But anyway, so Linda, I challenge you.
Okay.
To play a video game this summer. Before you go back to school, your homework, and I'm gonna leave this open ended. We're not betting people in here, Mark. We're not gonna make you play Star Stable or any of this stupid nonsense.
Actually, Star Stable is supposed to be great, though.
Actually, Star Stable would probably be okay if you were not a middle-aged man. I think
it's true.
I'm
just a middle-aged woman. It's different.
You could do it.
Different.
I felt like
it is.
Or mom.
It's true.
Exactly. I had to play it like a stealth action game because I didn't want to interact with any of the players because they were all
That's
tween
fair.
girls. And
That
I
probably
shouldn't
would
be
have
doing
been
that.
weird. That
So
would
I
have
played
been
it
weird.
like. And did you know MMOs are really hard to play like a stealth action game? I played it like
I
it was
actually did know that.
It's like playing it-
Stranglethorn Vale taught me such things.
Exactly. I felt like I was playing in a PvP server. And so, Linda, I'm going to leave this entirely up to you. But you have a PlayStation 4, and you have a Switch in your house, and God willing, you'll have a PlayStation 5 by the end of the summer.
We'll see.
I mean, you'll have more time to run out and get stuff if I text you and tell you that they're available.
It's true.
But I just want you to find a game. My suggestion, and this is going to sound absolutely wild, I think you should play Spider-Man, but I think you should play it on easy. Because the easy mode on Spider-Man is basically free. Like, you're just running around doing Spider-Man stuff, and I think you like Spider-Man. I think you'd like it, and your kids would help you.
Honestly, Spider-Man is a really, really great game.
But turn the difficulty
it genuinely is.
all the way down. And then it's not, but here's the thing. I just want to make this clear. I turned the difficulty all the way down too. This is not me being like, oh my God, you're terrible. What it does, because the thing about video games, right, is they push back at you. Like, they're the only kind of media that is like, no, you may not do this. Books don't try to close. Movies don't turn the volume down if you're not paying attention. Like, video games will slap you back. And so I think for someone that has not played a lot of video games, turning the difficulty all the way down.
That's completely valid.
But you don't have to follow that advice. You can play whatever you want.
Reasonable.
You just
all right.
sometime this summer.
I will go through our library and maybe that'll be a TikTok of what should I play.
Yeah, you should.
Do it.
Here's my warning though.
No. But it's going to be here's option A, B, or C.
Okay.
Like that's. No. I know better.
Don't leave that up to the wild people. They're going to have you playing. Because on the internet right now, they're
going to help. It's going to be Elden Ring.
Exactly. I was about to say that. You're going to play Elden Ring or Skyrim. Although, you know what, Amanda, can I be real? I think Linda might actually like Skyrim.
But only with the Thomas the Tank Engine mod.
Only with the Thomas the Tank Engine mod.
That sounds like something I can get on board with.
So, you'd need a PC.
Does he say, "Oh my grease
that.
and oil" like in the show? That's my
You'd
question.
You'd need a PC to do that. Amanda will help you.
I'm okay. I got through it.
Sorry.
Okay.
I took a big sip of iced tea and I'm like, don't go up my nose, don't go up my nose, don't go up my nose.
So
that was great though.
Thank you.
So that's my challenge to Linda. Everybody, I'd love words of encouragement in the Facebook group regularly.
Yes.
Let's just tell Linda to remind her of the challenge, and then send her words of encouragement all over the Discord and on future episodes of the podcast. In the meantime, let's go around the horn, and I'm going to start with something that is not video game related. And it's not board game related either, but it is super relevant to our interests. And it's not the small child behind me.
Hi, Maggie.
Can I have double-sided tape from your desk?
What?
Can I have double-sided tape from your desk?
I have. Do you know where it is?
Yeah.
Get it. I don't know where it is.
He's so cute. She has like the same shirt that Vivi has.
Well, those
her
are
little
her uniform
polo?
shirts. That's the uniform shirts from the school.
That's so cute. Vivi has a red one.
So, this is relevant to us. I took my 16-year-old son to his first LARP event this weekend.
I saw.
So, Alliance, it's... Okay, bear with me a moment. I'm going to mute my camera and deal with this. Or mute my mic and deal with this.
But we can still hear you.
He doesn't know
yes,
his audio's on.
We can.
You didn't.
Your audio's on.
Hear me.
Oh.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good. Because fine if we hear.
Not that I said anything inappropriate. I just said, guys, can we not? And then I got a little sass back. But, okay. So, it was Alliance LARP, which anybody that listens to the podcast knows that's the game that I play. I can say officially I'm no longer on national staff. But I not that matters. I'm fully in the bag with these guys. So, it is the New Hampshire chapter, and they have a new site which has its issues. It is, in New Hampshire, there's a lot of small homes, mobile homes with a million acres into the woods, and this is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some problems with like some junk vehicles and stuff, but they're all getting out of there. They're building the site. It's going to be a permanent site. So there are some really nice buildings that are coming up. The bones of some other buildings were there. We were there for one day. So it was rough because it was like 4 hours there, 4 hours back for 7 hours worth of game. Oof. However, my oldest had a freaking blast.
Awesome.
And no one knew that he was 16. And outside of
he 16.
Okay, but that's fair. He does not look 16 whatsoever. It's just like my 17-year-old doesn't look or she's 18 now. My 18-year-old doesn't even look 18.
No, she looks like she's 21.
Exactly.
But so he looks older. Everybody looks a little bit older in LARP costuming because it does. Because if for nothing else, it normalizes age. Because we're all dressed in make believe. But the other thing is they didn't believe he was a new player because he came in and. The one thing that I don't think any of us took into consideration when talking about like this next generation of LARPers, which is happening, right? LARP started in the 80s and really got popularized in the late 90s and 2000s. A lot of us have kids now, and a lot of us have kids that are teenagers. And so this first generation...
That ish is weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. But now the thing that I don't think anyone took into consideration was that these kids who have been around it their entire lives, it's just perfectly natural. They know how to hold, he knew how to carry a shield. He knew how to carry his weapon when he was idle. He knew how to go through logistics. He knew how to answer questions. He knew where to stand when he was fighting. He knew that he's a rogue, but he's not the fastest guy. So he knew that he had to hang out on the side and we didn't get it until we were home, and my wife was like, well, he's been listening to you talk about this for his entire life. You think he wouldn't pick it up? And this is kind of how I think, NFL quarterbacks, the kids are really good at football, right? It's just because you grow up around it, you're comfortable with it. This is kind of, not to say that I'm an NFL quality quarterback. That's not what I'm getting at. But, you're around people that talk it, live it, love it. All of his uncles and aunts are... So... It was awesome. What it was great about it was seeing his excitement, sending pictures to my mom of him genuinely smiling was something she hadn't seen in years because he's a teenager. Teenagers don't smile. But he was freaking stoked. So the moral of this story is share your passions with your kids. Don't force them, but man, they're going to have a blast when they follow through. Because...
Yep.
And now the only problem he has is that he's got a busy Boy Scout schedule for the next couple of months, so he's going to be missing a couple of games. And one of the events, the next low-level event, takes place during an EFG sprint. So unfortunately, we will be we have another magazine to make, so we are not going to be we will be missing that one. But that's all right. There's plenty more. I'm going to kidnap your husband in September. He doesn't know it yet, Linda, but I'm kidnapping him. Or you. He can stay home. It's fine.
Depends on what.
It's going to be
I'll look up the dates.
It'll be September 23rd to the 25th or whatever weekend it is. It's going to be like that at the beginning of Mulan, where the guy comes in and it's like, I need one representative from each house. And I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to, I'll take,
nice.
Take one from there, one from there. And I got to play with my brother for the first time since before COVID, so that was great.
Aw, that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Linda.
Yeah, Evan came in and he went. He went in so much better equipped than I did. I'm just thinking back, he's got the D&D background. He's been hearing about it. It just makes me laugh.
Oh man, the story of your LARPing experience being the first fantasy game you ever played.
That's
God.
legit.
Did you
that
Lord
is
of the
extremely
Rings?
legit. I love it.
What was that?
Had you even read Lord of the Rings before you went?
No.
So
no.
So
None of it. I'd read The Hobbit.
All right. I guess that was a little bit, I guess.
And I had read like other fantasy, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. Well, I mean, at least you knew what an elf was, and didn't think like Santa's elves or something like that.
You're not wrong. I knew that much.
So, Linda,
yes.
you played. You celebrated the beginning of your school vacation with playing a board game. So,
yes.
Let's talk about that. You played Keys to the Kingdom.
Key to the Kingdom.
Key to the Kingdom.
Ooh,
from
I want to hear this.
Restoration Games.
Yes.
Yes.
Joint.
So it was so good. So I have a couple of things I just want to share. So this is, they say it's for ages 7 and up, and I can see why they said 7 and up as far as gameplay. The actual mechanics are pretty straightforward. However, there was a lot going on. It took a while. It says on the box 20 minutes per player. We did a 2-player game. It easily took us an hour, and we weren't exactly being slow with it. Like, and our strategy. Yeah, and we enjoyed the hour. Like, make no mistake, like it was a lot of fun. We were gathering what we needed so we could go get the pieces. So it was one of those where we were getting the thing to do the thing. Yeah. So basically, the Key to the Kingdom, though, it's got a really cool board. So the board is 2 pieces. It fits together like a puzzle, and you start with it folded closed. So part of the board is visible, the back end basically, and then there's whirlpools. And when you go through a whirlpool, you open up the other side. And so you can have half opened, you can have it full opened by doing that. You can also close it back up. There's things on either side. And the basic premise is you're going around and you're gathering companions, you're gathering magic items to go through and go through these challenges to get, you have to gather 3 pieces of the key. Literally, it's the keys in 3 pieces. And once you get all 3 pieces, you can go and defeat the bad guy. And it's
very cool.
Super cute. Super, super cute. And the really cool component is when you're doing these little challenges to go through to get the key components, you have to go nonstop. So if you fail the challenge, you're kicked out. Like, not kicked out, but like you fail the challenge and you have to like go to the exit and try again later.
Okay, I get it.
It's kind of neat. And the same thing when you go into
at least you can retry.
Oh, you
right?
can absolutely retry. Absolutely. It doesn't close it for you. No, it doesn't close it for you. And each component of the key is a different color. So like if you get the blue piece, you can't do another blue challenge. There's no reason to, which makes sense. And then when you go into defeat the demon bad guy, you have to do it in one straight shot. And if you fail, you get kicked back to the courtyard. But again, you can try again.
Try again.
You can reset, try again, reset, try again. So it was really fun. Like I said, like it says 7 and up. I could see a savvy 7-year-old that is used to gaming, that's got good patience, being able to play this. But this is not for every 7-year-old.
Right. It would be for like Vivian.
Right. And I have to say, like, Isaac played it with me, so he's almost 14, and it, like he was perfect for it. He was really focused. My younger one, Eli, I mean, he's 10, but he and I kind of partnered because he was kind of wanted to play, but wasn't too invested.
That's more like Gabriel.
Yeah. And he basically was like, I'm done, like 20 minutes in.
Sure. So yeah. He's like, I got other stuff to do, Mom. I'm done.
I'm going to go play Minecraft. I'm good.
Oh, no, that really is Gabriel.
We have twins, apparently.
Apparently, somehow.
But I think if I got him in the right spot, it's true, one of these days. No, but I think it's one of those, like, the right kid at the right moment. Yep. I think they would really enjoy it. And the moves aren't hard. You have just a couple things to do each turn. It's not a high complexity, but it does take a while to go through the game. So that's the piece. You need somebody that can sustain for a longer game.
Got it. That makes sense.
But it would be fun.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
It sounds like the kind of game that I would like to play.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I can't wait to. I have a couple of friends that I'm like, I have to bring this to our, like we call it the poker group because the husbands always play poker and the wives like play board games. So I have to bring this to the poker group.
Love that.
Yes.
Also love that. That is fabulous.
Ever since they showed this one off during. They did like a YouTube kind of presentation deal where they showed it off. Ever since I saw that, I was like, this is a game that we have got to see at one of our tables. It's perfect for our audience. So I'm excited to see that it hit the mark, right? Yes. You're always nervous when the game finally comes in after you're anticipating and exciting for it. Because it's hard with board games sometimes, right? Especially with no conventions, it's not like you can take a turn at a convention and see. Good news is Restoration Games really does not miss.
They really don't miss.
They've done a really good job with it. The components are nice. The board setup it's really easy to understand. We ended up watching a how to play it video because the rule book. It looks like a lot, but it's nice, big text, lots of pictures. But it was helpful having a how it's played video just to kind of, because there was a lot of little things, and that just kind of made it easier to figure it out together since none of us had played it.
Right.
But
honestly, I watch how to play videos for every board game, even if I have the instructions and the instructions are good.
Yeah, we do too.
I think
Definitely we do that.
I'm doing it more and more because I find that if we just watch the video together, then we all have the same information simultaneously. And instead of trying to read the book and share it, and you always seem to miss something. And it's just, I think it's an easier, when nobody knows anything about the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's much easier to start from there.
Agreed.
Sure. That makes good sense.
And some of those channels do such a good job. Such
right.
a good job. Amanda.
Yes.
Tell me about this weird mobile game you've been playing.
You want me to tell you about Point P?
Yeah, I think we need to know.
I want to hear about this.
Because this is cruising towards like
this is ridiculous
contender based on the hype coming out of her Discord channel.
This game was like half ironically, nonsense, where everyone was ironically excited about it, but then we actually played it and we're like, this game's great. So Point P was actually announced and then shadow dropped during the Netflix Geek Week, and so that was like co-hosted by Jeff Keighley as well. So this game, I don't know, like, how do I describe this game? This game is kind of like Puzzle Bobble, right? Where you have to like pull the control down and then aim it somewhere on the screen, but you're trying to make juice for an angry cat. So you gotta go up and you gotta bounce around and collect nonsense and not get hit by any monsters. You have to go around and like collect a bunch of fruits and stuff and then bounce on the cat's head and then it creates juice. Literally, that's the whole game.
That sounds my speed of game. That's going on my short
really
list.
good. It's really good. You can get it on like, it's by Netflix, like Netflix published it. And it's available to download, I think, on all mobile platforms, so on iOS and on Android. So, like, and it's not in the Netflix app. It's, like, just published by Netflix, so you can just download it on the App Store.
Which is so wild. It's so wild.
It's so weird.
Netflix said they wanted to get into games. How many years ago? It was a couple of years, right? They just quietly announced it. 3 years.
3? Wow.
Anybody that noticed knows I looked down. I knew the answer was going to come from the window below me, and so 3 years ago they said they wanted to get into games. They made some like key strategic hires, but a lot of it was just like press releases and stuff like that. But then they went quiet, and what's really interesting is I think they did good work, which is something that like a lot of other companies like kind of don't. They're like like hello Amazon. Like, we want to make some stuff, and then...
Well, they have Lost Ark now, which they published, and New World, which they developed and published, and those were both considered commercial successes.
Up until that point, you are correct. My snarky commentary is 9 months old.
That's fair.
9 months ago, it's like, whoa. But you're right. Now they've started to. But for a while, it was like, check out these high-quality hires. Check out this crazy stuff we're doing. And then just... repeatedly stumbling out of the gate, lots of whereas Netflix shut their mouth and put out, and instead of trying to, and I think this is the big difference, Netflix is not trying to compete with Bethesda, or Blizzard. They're doing their own thing, and it's probably going to pay off.
The really interesting thing that Netflix talked about, in the same kind of ways that we hear from places like Disney, right? Where they talk about the attention economy. It's no longer about like, well, we have to compete with other games. No, you don't. You have to compete with other forms of entertainment. That's what you're competing for. You're competing for attention. So if Netflix is baking in games into their, widening that addressable market as we talk about, right? And, on virtual economy, widening that out ensures that people that are interested in the games hang out, and they're like, okay, well, if Netflix is making like really cute, cool games like Point P, what else are they doing aside from, laying off a lot of people and having a ton of labor issues? But what are they doing with their technology? What are they doing with their content? And it's the attention economy. That's what we're competing for here. You're no longer Netflix is competing with Fortnite. Fortnite is competing with Hulu, et cetera, et cetera.
Which is so wild. Which is not only is it wild, but it's something we never would have thought was going to happen a bunch of years ago, right? Like
no,
So
well,
true.
we didn't because streaming changed everything.
Yeah,
Streaming
really did.
literally changed everything, and subscription services completely upended the way that we understand games and completely upended the way that we understand entertainment in general.
And it's only
I could literally talk about this all day. Stop me.
I know you could. Well, don't worry, I'm gonna stop. So that's Point
Okay.
B. It's available on mobile platforms now, and frankly, if you're interested in seeing Netflix's games offerings, go into your Netflix app on your phone or your tablet, and
Yep.
just search for it. Search for there's a games option, and
They
they've got
have
stuff on
them.
there. It's
They
not a
do. They have
ton,
stuff on there.
but
There's
but
going to
it's
be
there.
more games. There's going to be more games. They're going to be releasing. They're going to be co-publishing on mobile. They're bringing Terra Nil, which is actually a Devolver Digital game, and they're bringing a whole bunch of other games that were thought to be console, like not console exclusives, but they weren't necessarily coming to mobile. That is what Netflix is doing. Is they're funding these mobile ports in the similar capacity to what Apple was doing with Apple Arcade.
And we all know Apple Arcade is a good deal.
Apple
We're big
Arcade is
fans
the
of
best
Apple
deal in
Arcade here.
mobile.
Easily. I think it's in the conversation for one of the best deals in gaming too. Because it's only $5.
Only $5, y'all.
It's and everyone has a phone. But then again, everyone has a TV, and Xbox is bringing Game Pass to those. So I guess
The
it doesn't matter.
Samsung, yeah. Yeah, bringing
yeah.
it to Samsung.
So anyway, so that is Point B. Neat little mobile game. Great way to kick off the summer. Although I'm weirded out by cats. Wanting juice. Cats are obligate carnivores, so like juice does not qualify as that. But I'll deal with it.
Point B.
Point P. There we go. Look at that fat little cat.
That
at the
looks
bottom of
so
the screen,
cute.
Everybody.
Look at this little kitty.
That
Look at
cat
him.
is that
That's
cat
my kind of game.
is a circle.
It's a chonk
that one-
cat, and we love chonk cat.
that game does not count, Linda.
Man,
it counts.
I thought I
it
found the right
counts.
one.
I don't listen. I don't want.
No,
I
get it. I get it.
Like that doesn't count as a game. Of
You
course
want-
it's a game. That's not what I had in mind. I want
So you want me to
have
do a
controller
console
in your-
game?
I want you to have a controller. in your
All
hand.
right.
Nerds.
This
All
is
right.
an important experience. So, speaking of console games, and games that are everywhere, I want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Oh my gosh, can we?
This game is going to be on our essentials list for every console it is on. I think it
Nice.
might even be competing. Like I think it's competing for Game of the Year right now, and I've only played it for an hour. I am not joking. This is everything that I wanted in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game and more. It's got the soundtrack has Mega Ran on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mega Ran. Now that's a
Yeah.
deep cut, and I think
That is a
only
deep
one
cut.
person in this whole area knows what I'm talking about.
No idea.
I've actually
Sorry.
met Mega Man. Very
yeah?
briefly. Yep, very briefly.
That's cool.
Very, very briefly. So, he obviously has no idea who I am and would never remember. But I was very, I was in his presence. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge is it's a modern. It's not a remake. It's a fully original modern game designed after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade games, most notably Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Manhattan Project, and also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time, which is a classic that still holds up. And this really, with all sorts of loving, nostalgic nods, the opening to the game is a kind of reimagining
The masterpiece.
The opening of the game is a reimagining / remake of the original TMNT theme song with like the new art. It just looks so. Everything about it.
It feels so good
It's
to
Turtles.
play.
It's Turtles.
It's Turtles. It's
Um,
Turtles, the arcade game, but modernized. Emu deserves so many awards. Like it so Linda, for you, Restoration
Okay.
Games, right? We're talking
Yeah.
about like board games that came out many, many years ago. They've been restored with loving care and attention. Emu does that for older franchises like Streets of Rage and now for Shredder's Revenge.
That's really
So
Facts.
that's what they're doing. I kind of wanted to bring you in on that analog.
I
I'm like,
appreciate
Linda will
that.
get this. Linda will
I'll
get
get
this. What
that.
Emu
Yeah.
is doing.
Oh, that's really neat that they're doing the video game
Yeah.
comparable.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And it is. So if you like Ninja Turtles, this is required viewing, period.
Yeah.
If you like those
It's
games,
real
this is
good.
required viewing. It's on everything. PC, it's on Game Pass, Switch.
Yeah, Xbox Game Pass.
All PlayStations.
Huge.
And, I mean, who knows? Maybe Netflix will publish it on their platform. It wouldn't
Maybe.
surprise me. This thing is immaculate. The soundtrack is amazing. It is not. I will admit, it is not easy, but
No,
it's
it's hard.
But it's fine. You know, this is.
But it's not like hard like Turtles in Time was hard,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
Because you're not sitting there and inserting quarters.
Well,
And
that's
in
the
my
key.
case, loonies. There.
Was that tokens?
There's some Canada
or
for you.
Oh.
Are loonies coins?
Yeah,
not
they're- How do you not know this?
Tokens?
Loonies?
I don't
No,
know.
loonies are dollar coins.
I did.
We also
know
have
that
$2 coins called toonies.
Oh, that's adorable.
How have I not told you guys this? I'm going back to Canada in August. I'll just bring some loonies and toonies back. It'll be fine.
It seems like you could probably just take some pictures. I feel like you could just text me a picture of a loony and a toonie,
Nah,
and that would be
I'll bring
good
you some.
enough.
I'll bring you some.
You don't need to bring me money. Can you bring me candy though? Because I would like.
I
Candy.
will. I know.
Oh.
Cultural candy exchange is real.
Yes. So maybe I'll use that to bring back my candy review channel. Which I do need to do. Anyway, if you're a Turtles fan, absolute required reading. If you are not a Turtles fan, unless you are absolutely anti-Turtle, at which point, if you are, stop listening to this. I don't know how you're anti-Turtles and like anything I do. I still think you probably should play it. It is an immaculate brawler game. Great multiplayer fun. 6-player multiplayer online and
Wow.
and on the couch. That is.
Yep, we were playing 4-player co-op on our couch. We
Wow.
were playing it on PlayStation 5, and we did it with the three gaming adults. So on Father's Day, so it was the dads and me, and then Vivi was playing with us, and she's like, "Well, I don't want to play as April O'Neil," and I'm like, "That's 'cause I do.
Nice.
I love April. She's great. She's super OP in this game too, by the way. Like really,
Yeah,
really overpowered.
She really is.
She's
so
so
fast.
overpowered. She needs to be tuned. But she's amazing. So Vivi was playing as Leonardo. I was
Okay.
playing as April. I think Mike was playing as Raph. And my husband was playing as Donatello. So
Yeah,
it was
that's it.
great. This game's
All of-
awesome.
Every piece of that tracks. I played as Donatello also because if you played the NES,
I love
version-
Donnie.
Because if you played the NES Ninja Turtles game, you can only play as Donatello because he's the only character that is viable because of the range of his attacks.
Exactly, because he's got
wow.
his staff, his
'Cause
bow
he's got the
staff.
So, I highly recommend Ninja Turtles. This is gonna find no joke. It's gonna find its way onto all of our essentials
100%.
lists.
Play it on everything and everything immediately.
Yes. And I'm certainly
If
going to
not
be
sooner.
recommending, and I'll be recommending it all over the place this holiday because it's going to be a great New Year's Eve with the kids. You know, keep the
For
kids
sure.
busy game because the other thing you can do is you can beat it in a sitting because it's not very long. There are still challenges and stuff like that, but you could easily throw 6 kids onto a Switch and they'll burn an evening as long as they don't fight.
Well, that's the.
So listen, but even still, they can take their frustrations out on the Foot Clan.
There you go.
Okay, so that's around the horn.
Just like beat up some ninjas. It's
Beat up
fine.
some they're robot ninjas also. It's worth
Oh,
mentioning.
nice.
So they have a nice, satisfying explosion when you beat them up. So on to the news. So it's Summer Game Fest. Summer Game Fest started. It is not over. And
Honestly, summer game mess.
Summer Game
to be
Fest.
clear.
Yeah,
Oh, my.
Thank you, Mr. Grubb.
Yeah.
So Summer Game Fest, there's just so much stuff going on. I'm not gonna lie, I miss the 1 week of showcases. Like I really wish it was just all at once. I know every journalist is like shooting like eyeball daggers at me when I say that, but like I don't know, I just want it to be all at once so I can get really, really excited and then be done with it. Whereas now, like, Nintendo is rumored to be on the 29th. Like, that's a long time. I don't want to wait that long. But,
yeah.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that happened. And let's just
do it.
Let's start with the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, which was a true, actual showcase.
It was real good.
And it was really good. A lot of people were very happy. They did delay a few games ahead of this. They had to, otherwise it would have been bad news. But Amanda,
yes,
the showcase, the thing that I know because you and I were in the same Discord channel and both of us broke. They announced Forza Motorsport.
Yes, they did.
And you like wept openly. Tell me.
I did. I did weep openly. It was like couple tears where I was like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, tell us about Forza Motorsport. What's the deal with this?
All right, so you guys have heard me talk about Forza Horizon 5, right? And 4 once upon a time because I was around when we did the launch for that. And Forza Horizon is an arcade racer, right? It's got some simulation elements to it, but it's mostly like get in your car, go. You don't have to worry about all the little tuning bits. You don't have to worry about any of it. Now, Forza Motorsport is a simulation racer, and it is one of the most complex simulation racers out there as of this Forza Motorsport that's about to come out.
Oh my.
The kind of granularity that you can expect from Forza Motorsport from the new one is you can get all the way down into like the fuel type that you're going to be putting into your kick-ass little racing car, right? These kinds of games take forever to master. When you do, it is the most rewarding thing ever. So yeah, I wept a little bit openly. It was just so beautiful, and I'm like, this is perfect. It's all I want. And at the same time, I said literally the same thing about Gran Turismo, Project Cars 2. Like, I keep doing this where I'm just like, it's perfect, 10 out of 10, no notes. And I'm like, you know what, Amanda, you should probably slow down like just a little.
The thing about racing games, Linda, and this is something that you just may not necessarily know, but like generally racing games are like how you showcase the graphics on a new console. And part of that
makes
is
perfect
because
sense.
Historically it's not like you have to render like a massive open world, I guess, unless you're playing Horizon. But for the most part,
Horizon.
It's focus your energy on the cars.
Right.
And they're just going in a circle and turning left.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
background on this though. The scenery.
It's unbelievable. And not only that, this is one of the first Forza Motorsport games where they are going to allow damage to the cars.
I saw them talk about damage. That's new.
It's new, and the reason why is because manufacturers before this have been super skittish about their cars being depicted as being damaged. Now it's just a good branding opportunity, and they're like, no, millions of players are going to be able to see these cars, and then they're going to want these cars. We need to just give them the full range of experience so they can be like, yeah, let's get this car, man. Like, it went really fast, and also it kind of held up when I beat the crap out of it, so.
Right. There's that too.
Yeah. Forza.
Yeah, I am.
Forza.
It's one of those. This is one of those things that's going to explain why. And Gran Turismo did it for me too, but like.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This is going to do it too. Like, this is going to explain what ray tracing is for. Because like seeing your car reflecting off the gloss paint job of the car to your right in real time is
insane.
And at the same time, when it's nighttime and the lights are reflecting off of the hood of your car and your windshield and into the cockpit of the car.
And that's when you see me weeping on stream.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane what they're going to be able to do. This is absolute, like, the only concern that I have, and this really just comes down to, fortunately it's on Game Pass, so I think a lot of people that play it will play it with no real, like, it's not like they're going to pay $70 for it, for a lot of people. is that coming off of Horizon, like the Horizon is a game that a lot of people can play. It is very accessible, right? And because it's designed that way, it's an arcade racer. Forza Motorsport is hard, so because it's a simulation racer, it's meant to be difficult.
It's a simulation racer.
And
it's gonna kick your booty.
Historically, motorsport has come first in the console, in the Xbox life cycle, and I think some of that has just been, when they have come out, and I think that's clearly what happened here. But so now it's different. Like, a lot of people got their Xboxes and got really into Horizon, which is like, oh, this is Forza, and now they're going to get Forza, and it's going to be different. Now,
it's going to be much different. You're used to an arcade racer where you can get in your car and go, and you have a ton of different cars, and those cars are all awesome, and you can customize them to your heart's content. Motorsport's going to be totally different, so buckle up, because you're about to go real fast
and have trouble braking and steering and all that. But my hope,
bust out your wheel.
My hope is that they know this, and that they will have like a robust tutorial or like a really good accessibility, like assist systems to help kind of ease people in. That's what I'm hoping for. With that said, we're gonna find out, because it is coming out, and it's gonna blow people away. Speaking of blowing people away, Linda, what did you think when they announced yet another Minecraft spin-off in Minecraft Legends? Like, you saw that. I know you were scrolling through and you were like, zombie, Headshot Central, Call of Duty, Minecraft, let's stop and watch.
Exactly. No, that was when I was like, nope, we're going to sit and watch this whole segment. Well, as soon as they said, I saw Mojang, I'm like, okay, this is one I need to pay attention to. Between Fahir and then my boys are just such huge Minecraft fans, to the point that I was watching it while they were in karate, and they get back in the car after class, and I'm like, so did you guys know? Because
did they know?
Amazing.
Half of them did. One did, one didn't.
Okay. So
I thought that was interesting that one of them had heard the announcement, the other one had not. So they were both really excited. So yeah, that's when it's like, okay, we're going to be buying that for sure. That's
I think a lot of folks are. So Minecraft Legends is it's like a hero strategy game where you are running around on a map, gathering up mobs and kind of like running through. It feels like very Pikmin cross Overlord kind of game where you're just running around and collecting an army of creepers and villagers and other golems and stuff like that, and pitting them against monsters from the Nether. I mean, it looks like a Minecraft game. I remember when Microsoft bought Mojang, and I remember, like we were doing podcasts then, and I remember saying, oh well, they're clearly just gonna do they're gonna figure out a way to do a Minecraft 2. And they're going to do that soon. And you know what? I'm eating my hat. They don't need to do a Minecraft 2. They can just keep updating Minecraft forever. Mm-hmm. And instead, they're just doing these spin-off games.
Officially a game as a service, man.
I mean, it's been and you're right. It's this is a and it's going to be a cross-media franchise when they put that movie out. How wild is that? So, I just didn't think about spin-offs. It just didn't occur to me that they would make a different game in between story mode and Dungeons, and now Legends. I mean, now we're basically just waiting for them to put out a mascot fighting game. Like,
I wouldn't be mad about it either.
Actually, you know what I would really play is Minecraft Soccer.
That'd be really cool.
I mean,
a Minecraft sports game? That would be really interesting. But honestly, Legends looks like it was the kind of game that was definitely built for me and also for my son Gabe.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect next place to go, right? Like, like a strategy type game. It's got like real time strategy elements. You know what other game it really gave me the energy of? Was Brutal Legend.
It had some big Brutal Legend vibes. You are not the first person to say that to me.
Just less Jack Black, which admittedly is to its detriment.
Which is less Jack Black than I want. I would like more Jack Black because I like him.
Can he just be in every game?
Honestly, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking of which, new Kung Fu Panda in July, by the way, on Netflix.
Ooh,
I'm very excited.
Beautiful.
Anyway, Minecraft Legends, we don't have a release date. But we know because of what they said, no, in air quotes, that it's sometime in the next year. So sometime before next summer, we will be playing
Over
this.
the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Because
Listen, it's
everything
coming
they
in
showed during the
2023.
showcase.
Yeah.
There you go.
Listen, I screenshotted that for my kids. Coming 2023.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a big. It is a very big deal. They made a whole bunch of other announcements. They talked about Redfall, which Amanda is very excited for. They talked about some interesting. I mean, there were a lot of really good games shown off in the showcase. The reality is, many of them are just not for us and our audience. However, they did add some Halo stuff to Flight Simulator. Amanda,
that was cool.
What did you think about the Pelican?
That was wild.
Flight Simulator?
It was absolutely wild. I had to do a double take like 3 times. I was like, they're not doing that. They did it.
They're doing it. They did.
That makes me feel better about my confusion because I was really confused when I hit
was
that part of the
too.
video.
I was like, they're not
I'm
going
like,
to.
okay, it's just me, right?
No, they're not. They're pranking. Am I getting pranked? No. They're putting the Pelican in.
Which is.
So yeah, I had that moment of like, what?
That was. Because, like, you see in the planes, and all of a sudden you hear the Halo, like, Gregorian chant, and you're like, no.
Nah, they're not
like,
doing. Nah, but they did.
They did it, and you know what?
They
It makes
did.
perfect sense. It really does make perfect sense. Also,
It does.
also helicopters, quiet ad, but very cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
cool though.
Listen, Microsoft Flight Simulator, the fact that it's included on Game Pass is just this very bizarre thing.
It's so
massive.
it's so
video
good.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, massive. It's huge. Like low key, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it has been amazing the entire time the Microsoft Flight Simulator has been a thing. Like I played the very first one in the 90s with my flight stick, and like I have very happy memories of playing this game in like I don't know, like 97, 98 or something like that. I'm dating myself. This didn't happen. You heard nothing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's dating herself. Yeah, right.
Let's not talk about where I was in 97. It's fine.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I was in high school.
We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno.
We-
Linda, when I played this game, I actually took off from Bradley and flew over my own house.
That's crazy.
That
it's that precise.
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
It didn't look great. I was like,
No,
wow, maybe we need a new roof. But it was, but that was just rendering problems. It's amazing how great it has. Every airport, every major airport, and yeah, it's insane. And so apparently now you can take out a Bradley on a Pelican from Halo Infinite, which sure, why not?
Incredible.
Why not? Let's play some video games.
Incredible.
They have
video
the physics,
games.
so video games are great. They also talked about Starfield, which is also not for us, but man, like it's one of those things where like I through the course of the video and reading about it, I go, I don't want to play this, but I kind of feel like I have to play this. I don't want to play this, but I'm gonna play this, but I'm not gonna play this, and then I'm like, so it's really interesting.
What if you played it?
What if it's on Game Pass and it doesn't?
What if it's
anything?
on Game Pass?
Hey, it could be one for the grown-ups.
So, oh yeah, I mean, it might be. Well, it's definitely going to be one for the grown-ups. Definitely, right? There's no way that comes out T, is it?
There is.
No way.
Yeah, there could be a way that comes out T.
I guess
yeah,
so, because it's aliens and stuff. I guess it's...
Yeah, I mean, they could. It really depends on what the violence level looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, Skyrim is M, but, like, Skyrim has, like, swords and, like, melee combat. Like, it's what's really wild is because it has guns, it almost... like the violence becomes like an artistic choice.
Yeah.
Because if you're shooting space aliens and nothing comes out, then it's T.
Right.
It's wild to
If
think
they
about
just
that.
evaporate, yeah. No, it's true.
So
exactly.
So that's the Xbox showcase. We did get a Final Fantasy announcement. They did a 10-minute video on the release date, or not the release date, the anniversary of the release of Final Fantasy VII, the 25th anniversary, if anybody wants to feel hella old. I sure did. And
I don't love that for me.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't love that for me.
So it was 10 minutes. I'm going to fire out all the announcements. Here we go.
Okay, tell me everything.
they showed us a bunch of stuff about their Battle Royale mobile game, the Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale mobile game. Just some more content coming to that. Cool, great. There's going to be, I think it's coming to a new territory, but I couldn't figure out if it was us or another country in Asia. It went really fast.
Okay, fair enough.
But I don't play it, and I don't think many people do. But, so that's that. They did announce, remember for Final Fantasy 15, they did like this chibi version?
Yeah. I played it on my phone. It was on Apple Arcade.
It was on Apple Arcade, but it's also on Switch, whatever. They announced a chibi version of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's pretty great, actually.
It's going to be on mobile devices.
That's really cool.
It's coming as a beta later on this year. And honestly, I think that's super smart. We all know that they do these things right. Then to the big announcements. Crisis Core is being remade.
Yes. I did hear that.
Which is a PSP game, which honestly is a Final Fantasy game I never played. This
so
is
good.
Brand new to me because I never owned a PSP. And so
that was my first handheld console, believe it or not, was a PlayStation Portable.
I have only held a PSP in my hand like twice, and every time I think about buying one, like it stops being around. Like there was one that I had, one of our Linda and I's mutual friends had one. I could have bought it from him. I hesitated for like a month, and he sold it to somebody else.
Yo.
Not his fault. Not his fault. I was hesitating. He needed the money. So like I could have gotten that one. And the same thing with a PS Vita. Like every time I think about getting one, I'm like, oh, never mind. So Crisis Core is being remade, and that's coming out this winter, which is wild to think about. And then
for real,
Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. They confirmed that there's three pieces to this announcement. One, they confirmed that it is 3 parts: Final Fantasy Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then Final Fantasy VII Untitled. So they confirmed that it's 3 parts. They confirmed that the second one is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and they confirmed that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming next winter, which is maybe 2 or 3 years earlier than I expected it to come. I was expecting Part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake saga to be like a 2025 game.
And that's fair considering, what kind of development hell this has been in. Because
Trust has been a long time there.
It's honestly amazing that any game gets made. It's a miracle.
I mean, video games are wild to begin with, and then Square Enix is just not known for putting out games quickly. However, I feel like internally they realized that they had something, and so they're kind of going for it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
It feels like they know they have like a cultural moment. So I still don't think it's coming out next winter. I think what that means is instead of winter 2023, I still feel it's going to be a spring 2024 game, which is still a year or more earlier than I thought. And the clarification, honestly, the clarification that is coming in 3 parts, actually, I feel great. I feel better about it. These are ones for the grown-ups. We've talked about Final Fantasy VII. That it's Final Fantasy VII Remake is a really, really, it earns that T rating. It works for it, and it barely scrapes away from an M rating. And a lot of it is Barrett. So like, he's still gonna be in the second one. So
Barrett.
Look, did you see the memes with because in the trailers he took his glasses off, and they're like the reason we don't show he never takes his glasses off because we get lost in his eyes.
It's true.
Listen, he's a good dude. He just cusses a lot. I can't get judgy about that in general. Linda's like, Steve, what are you doing? But it's interesting to know that we have a lot of Final Fantasy in the next couple of years, because they're also saying that that next year is Final Fantasy 16. So could you imagine Crisis Core Remake this year, Final Fantasy 16 next year, and then Final Fantasy 7 Remake maybe next year or the year after that? Like, that's insane.
It's a lot
to think about.
It's really bonk.
I'm super excited though. Last showcase that I wanted to talk about, because a lot of the showcases showed a lot of stuff, but a lot of them started being like repeats towards the end, is the Epic Games showcase. They showed a reasonable amount of stuff. I think part of it And I think the one that is going to probably be the biggest announcement was really just more confirmation about battle passes and cross progression, etc. for Fall Guys, which is coming to everything.
Yep.
And is out on everything as of right now, today. So if you were watching this
Today.
Oh, wow.
and you want to play Fall Guys free to play on all of the things, go ahead and download it now. It's going to have a battle pass now, which is, I think, the right monetization model for that game.
I agree.
And which is wild, but they also showed this little survival game. Now, fans of the show know that I have wanted to get into a survival game for a very long time, but I just always bounce off them. And I think a lot of it is the aesthetic. A lot of them are there because they're just not my thing. But Amanda, I think I might have found the one for me.
I think you might have found it too, because goodness knows I definitely found the one for me.
Amanda, what is it? Tell me. Tell.
All right.
I can't say it. I'll choke
What is
up.
it?
All right. So, what if I told you that now that the Tolkien estate is kind of releasing its hold on licensing when it comes to video games, that we're going to see more Lord of the Rings games? And what if I followed that up with, what if we went back to Moria? But wait, there's more. What if we went back to Moria and we were dwarves and we had to survive stuff against goblins and orcs and we had to build Moria back up to its former glory? What if I said that?
Oh, it's got Steve's name written all over it. I mean, you got him at dwarves. Like
I did. Because, like they're going to have
I mean-
shields. They're going to have shields.
of course.
And, like,
they
that's
are.
that's all that Steve really wants in his heart is just all shields all the time. I know how he
That's
works.
amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
amazing.
love it. I was watching, and it's one of those things, like, it was on, and I was kind of doing some other stuff at the same time, because a lot of the stuff was rehashes, check out this thing coming to the Epic Game Store, and it was stuff that was already announced or other released elsewhere, etc., right? Which makes sense, because Epic Games is, they're competing with other storefronts, etc. But then I saw, like, the Lord of the Rings logo, and I was like, excuse me, sir? And so I turned it up a little bit in my headphones, and I wept. I'm not gonna lie, because
course.
it is, because I do love me some Tolkien dwarves. Tolkien dwarves are my favorite kind of dwarves, like,
Because they're great.
because they're,
That's fair.
I mean, just the designs are cool, just the way that, and the idea of building Moria instead of
It just
like-
hits. It just hits.
It does.
and quietly, like, low key, what I like about it, and this is just like 5% of the whole thing, but I think it changes the whole thing, is that, like, I'm building something, but, like, I know what it's supposed to be, right? Like, Minecraft is super open-ended. You can make anything. You can make the Starship Enterprise, you can make the castles in Game of Thrones, you can make a
Right,
duck
anything.
full of ducks, right?
Yes.
But, like, that's cool, but, like, I have way too ADD to have that much open-ended structure. But, like, I'm
Me, though.
making Moria. So, like, I know what Moria is supposed to look like, right? So, like, it's big open caverns with awesome pillars and then, like, forges and stuff like that. So the idea of having just that little bit of guidance, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you can
Right.
build anything, because I'm sure you'll probably be able to build just about anything. But, like, but it's still got to be Moria is just enough to give me, like,
That
a
makes sense.
task. And I can't wait. Obviously, I'll be streaming I'm going to be going crazy streaming that. I mean,
Good gosh darn out of it.
good gosh darn
Exactly.
out of it. I'm not going to say that my goal is to be the biggest Lord of the Rings Return to Moria influencer on Earth, but I'm going to give it my best. Okay.
I'm rooting for you, bud.
What if
Every day.
What if I streamed in chainmail with a fake beard? Like, what if I did that?
You don't need a fake beard. Your beard is glorious.
It is, but it's not a Morian. It's not a Morian dwarf beard.
Just
I
the,
don't know, man.
do you
Also, I
still
could just
have the
borrow-
chainmail hood?
I see the problem with the chainmail hood. I do have it. The problem with the chainmail hood is that I can't wear my glasses with it because it, like, scrunches down.
That's
remember the
fair.
problem why I had to stop wearing it. But
That's
I'm
fine.
like,
But at least for like the picture, at least for like a picture.
oh yeah, it would be part.
That's
it'll
got to be an
part of the deal.
Instagram picture.
No, of course,
Okay.
of course. So
Just for the gram. the gram.
So,
Yeah.
So that's the tail end of Summer Game Fest. Wait, one last thing. Netflix announced a Queen's Gambit chess game. Amanda, you and I were there when this thing when you and I were there when this magic was written, and I think a lot of people initially were like, "Wow, that's stupid." And
That's very silly. I don't understand this because it's what. Why are we excited about chess? Because y'all widening the addressable market for chess through giving it a theme. Themes matter. Themes matter.
They do.
Has chess ever had a mascot before?
I feel like the answer to that is no.
Has chess ever had a mascot that was an intense-looking anime redhead? Because that's really what it looked like on the cover of the Queen's Gambit chess game. Like,
I mean, and that's fair.
it was like, well, and also it's Princess Peach. So like for me, like it's like chess has never had like a person attached to it for me before. I know chess, I enjoy it, I play it, right? But like, it's never had like a face associated with it. And now all I can see is that, you know, like I don't look like her, but like that's all I can see is her when I think of chess.
And that's fair.
It's just striking branding. So, yeah, this is a game. And what it is not just a chess simulator. It's not Chess Master for the NES, but no, there's challenges, there's simulation aspects where you're dealing with other players. I think, and it's published by Netflix. I think this is going to be fascinating.
By Netflix.
Now, I want to be clear. If you think I'm bad at video games, you have not seen me play chess, but I do enjoy it. So we'll see what's going on. So that's Summer Games Fest. Except for the fact that we have Gamescom Live, Gamescom opening night live in a couple of weeks, and theoretically Nintendo at the end of the month.
This is true.
And but the bulk of it is over. So guys, we did it. We made it through.
We did.
Next week we're gonna cover Origins, because Origins happened. So next week, not next week, next episode.
When we next speak.
When we next meet. Next week, I'm going to be streaming some video games, is what I'm going to be doing.
Heck yeah, you are.
Probably some Floppy Night, because Floppy Night is great, FYI. So next time, we're going to go deep diving into the board games that were shown off at Origins. We'll probably talk about some Kickstarters. I'm sure Dungeons & Dragons will announce more stuff by then. And yeah, we are entering an exciting time because finally there is stuff to talk about. So, everybody watching,
it's true.
I hope you enjoyed listening as much as the three of us enjoyed recording, because it sure was a whole awful lot. We will be back in 2 weeks. I will be back on Monday for another World of Warcraft stream. I'm still chasing that stupid mythic trinket. I'm gonna get it eventually.
You won't get it.
RNG will work for me at some point. But in the meantime, I'll have a whole lot of fun, and I'll be back next Tuesday streaming Floppy Night, unless something else shadow drops that supersedes it. But I don't think so. So
that's fair.
Linda and Amanda, thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody else, thank you for listening. And until next time, don't forget to get your family game on. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye.